everybody, and welcome to this month's episode of Books and Brews. This month is September. September is National Friendship Month. So we have here some friendship tales, some friendship novels, a little nonfiction tale about friendship, got all sorts of different stuff going on. And Sammy, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking milkshakes. When I think of friendship, I think of like sitting in a diner drinking milkshakes with friends.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I love it. So I've got a chocolate milkshake, and Sammy's got a vanilla.
Super yummy.
We'll enjoy those, and we will put a recipe for that back in the description below. So we hope that you enjoy those as well as you read one of our friendship books that we're recommending for you today. Sammy's going to start us off, so why don't you give us your first recommendation?
Absolutely. So the first book I wanted to recommend is called All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. So this book follows a widower by the name of Hubert Bird. So Hubert basically spends day in, day out by himself in isolation. He lost his wife a couple of years ago. His daughter lives in Australia, across the world. So his only real contact with people is a weekly phone call with his daughter. In this phone call with his daughter, he weaves these tales about how he goes out with his friends all the time. He has all these friends, except that's a lie.
Oh no.
Like I said, he's alone all the time. He doesn't really have any friends. So it's a big surprise to him one day when his daughter says she's going to come visit.
Oh.
And suddenly he needs to make good on all of these tales of having tons of friends.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it's actually quite a heartwarming story about this 84-year-old man who's going back out in the world again and discovering friendship and remaking friendships. So I really, really recommend this one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. What an interesting concept. Okay, so my first recommendation, a little bit different from Sammy's. It is called Happiness by Aminata Forna. So sorry, Aminata Forna. She has written quite a bit, and this is one of her novels. She also writes for newspapers and things along those lines, but she has written this very interesting tale of friendship. So basically, a fox is crossing the Waterloo Bridge in London. This fox causes two strangers to collide, obviously intense distraction, and these two strangers start up sort of a friendship, and then they come together again, kind of serendipitously, and have to work together to get their network of all of their people in London and across the world to try to find a missing boy. So, I know, it sounds not as fun as yours, but I do think that this friendship tale is really important. It has a little bit more of a serious tone, but overall it shows how friendship can be hard and there is hardships in friendship, and you can use your friends to get over that and get through that, and also how strangers can also become friends by chance, which I thought was really interesting. And it has a lot of foxes.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So, one of the characters is studying urban foxes in London, and so that's why she's in London, and the other is there to give some keynote speeches on trauma. So their two kind of fields collide, and foxes, friendship, and working together.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really interesting tale here.
That idea of strangers really segues well into the next book that I have to recommend, which is Sarah Nisha Adams' The Reading List, which as a librarian, I am very into this book. So this book is another one of those kind of serendipitous discoveries. There is a teenager that is working the summer at a library, at her local library, and as she's shelving books, she's shelving To Kill a Mockingbird, and she finds a reading list crumpled up in the back of the book. And at the top of the reading list it says, "In case you need this," and then it's a list of books. So she works her way through this list of books, and they end up really helping her. So then she decides to pass that reading list on to somebody else as a way to help them.
Interesting.
So it's another kind of unconventional friendship that is formed by passing this reading list along. really, really heartwarming. It's another heartwarming story. And I know from previous episodes of Books and Brews, the heartwarming stories aren't usually what I go for, but
that is true.
yeah. So, really, really awesome book. I love this especially because it takes place in a library. So
that's great, and it's relatively new, right?
Yes.
Okay.
2021. This is a pretty brand new book.
Yeah, this is going to be the newest book on our list. So if you're looking for that one, hopefully you can get your hands on a copy. Well, we have one here, so there's at least one available for you. So that's interesting that you say that about passing along a reading list for friendship and strangers. I'm going to switch my order around. I was going to talk about nonfiction, but actually, I think I'm going to talk about my other fiction book next. It's called The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley, and this, very similar to what you were just describing in your recommendation. She tells the story of a green notebook, pretty plain Jane, nothing really going on with it, but it gets passed on by a specific person. So the first person who has it, his name is Julian, and he's an eccentric artist. He's in his 70s, and he just wanted to be honest about his life, really, and he didn't really know how else to do that but to write it. So he wrote it down in a green notebook, and then he left it at his local cafe, and the green notebook was found by someone else, and in this particular instance, it was found by the very tidy and efficient Monica. Monica finds it, she reads it, she writes down her story, she leaves it, and it goes on and on. So it tells the story of how a green notebook brings together a group of 7 strangers, and it's just really interesting that a notebook or a reading list can really bring people together, or Fox, can really bring strangers together in friendship. So I'm loving this common theme we're having here, kind of weaving together our friendship books. So it's a pretty fun and quirky tale, sometimes heartbreaking, but really it shows that happiness can be found by putting yourself out there, and acceptance is out there for you if you put yourself out there. You just have to find the right group of people. And I think that's really important. So
that's really cool. I wish I could come across a little green book.
Well, maybe we'll start our own, Sammy.
Yeah,
we'll start our own green notebook
That's
project.
really cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could say my next recommendation just
flowed right in.
Right in like that, but it's a very different book. My next one is a mystery thriller. So very different than these heartwarming stories that we had before. So let me ask a question. Have you ever had a friend that you just lost touch with?
Oh yeah, absolutely, unfortunately.
Have you ever thought about just driving by their house to catch a glimpse of them?
No.
That's okay.
No, I haven't thought about that.
So our main character in the book, A Perfect Little Children by Sophie Hannah, that is exactly what she did. She decided that on the way to dropping off her son to an away game, that's what she wanted to do. She hasn't seen her old best friend in 12 years since all their children were toddlers.
Oh, okay.
So she decides she's just gonna drive through the neighborhood where her ex-best friend lives and see if she can catch a glimpse.
Interesting.
Except she caught a glimpse of something a little odd. The children of her best friend or ex-best friend, who should be the same age as her children, which are now teenagers, are still like 3 and 5 years old.
Oh my.
Which is of course very strange and takes her aback. So we have this really weird mystery of why haven't her ex-best friend Flora's children aged in 12 years. So this is a really weird book that is kind of about friendship, but for those mystery lovers.
Kind of about friendship.
Yeah.
It's good for our next month
Of creepy stories.
Yeah, we're going to tell creepy stories next month, so that might fit right in. So that might be a good one to read into October almost.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for giving us a thriller component here, and I've got a nonfiction component of friendship. So there's lots of books written about love, friendship turned into love, that kind of thing. Not many written about platonic friendships. There's some, there's not too many. There are, however, a lot of podcasts about platonic friendships and how those have developed. And this book here here is called Big Friendship, How We Keep Each Other Close. And it is written by Aminatu So and Anne Freeman. They have been friends for a number of years. They are co-hosts of the Call Your Girlfriend podcast. And it is basically a podcast all about long-distance friendships and how to keep them and how it's okay to have a long-distance friend and you can keep in touch with them and it can be a friendship that really matters and is something super important. And so this book tells their story about their friendship and about how important their friendship is to each other, how silly they are with each other, how serious they can be with each other. And it really follows, every chapter really follows a specific example from their own friendship. So if you are looking for some concrete ideas about, how to be friends with someone and you want some specific examples, this might be a great book to start with because it is really just about their friendship. And I really do recommend checking out their podcast. I listened to it a little bit today and it is really nice to listen to friends talk. Just like have a conversation together about something that they both like or don't like, really. So I really enjoy that. I really enjoy this book a lot. So I hope that a nonfiction book for friendship fits into the theme, and I hope it's not too much, that it's just about them. It's not a self-help book though. So I know lots of people are kind of adverse to self-help books. They don't really want to read them. That's not what this is. This is a story, a narrative story about friendship, about their friendship. So it's a little bit different than a self-help book.
Almost a memoir, not quite a
memoir.
memoir.
Exactly. Almost a memoir, but not quite, because it tells more of a specific storyline, sort of. Very friendship driven about their lives, very specific examples, and just interesting writing overall. So listen to their podcast, pick up the book. Either way, I think it will be a great addition to your friendship reads this month.
That's awesome. And like we said, so next month is October. So our theme for next month, we're gonna be doing some spooky stories.
Spooky stories.
And that's right up my alley. I love horror and mystery and thrillers. So I'm very excited for the next episode of Books and Brews.
Yeah.
So if you have any recommendations for our brew for next month, definitely drop it in the comments and we will see what we can do. And you got anything else to add, EJ?
I don't think so. I think that's all we have. We've got our 6 recommendations. They'll be listed in the comments below, or description below, I guess. Put your ideas for our brews in the comments. That's what we want to do. And we will see you in October for some creepy story recommendations.
All right, see you in October.
See you guys.
Bye.